right, success. Finally, you people, you guys are amazing. Thank you for waiting. Thanks for being here with me. And my camera's all, there we go. Trying to get this glare off my camera. 1 second. I apologize. I've got to wipe this off of here. I have some schmutz on the camera. Okay. This is called live broadcasting, everybody. Good to see you. Butch Hartman here. How is everybody? I am so sorry. This is take 3. You know what happened? For some reason, the setting on my camera wasn't correct, and I was on a different camera. And anyway, someone else normally sets this up for me. But hello, everybody. How are we today? Welcome to Healing Journeys today. My name is Butch Hartman. I am the husband of the beautiful and amazing Julieann Hartman. So glad you guys could all make it today. And Julieann is going to be joining me very shortly. We have been dealing with a family situation. It is a health situation with one of our relatives, and it's been a situation that has been something new for us. We haven't really had to deal with a lot of. Let me move over here. That's better. There's kind of a shining. There we go. There's a glare. We haven't had to deal with a health situation in our family for quite some time. But there's a family member that had to be put into a care facility this week, and we've had to deal with all of that. And we do have a healing platform here. And yes, it's been, Tyler's right. I got Tyler on. I got Lula on. Hello, everybody. If you guys are, and Nasita's watching from the Philippines. Hello. If you guys are on right now, welcome to HARTbeat. I am Butch Hartman. Julieann normally is here with me. Last week she wasn't because she was dealing with her mom that's in the hospital. Now her mom's put in a care facility. Julieann is rushing here right now, but she's in LA traffic. And if you ever lived in Los Angeles, you can see how crazy the traffic is. So I really apologize for the delay. And I'm so sorry that it's just me, but I will do the best I can to create the most informative and entertaining broadcast possible. If you guys are here right now, please leave a comment in the comment section. Let us know how your week was. Tyler's asking how my week was this week. We had a fantastic week, Tyler. Thank you for asking. Had a lot of great business stuff happen, but we've been dealing with Juliann's mother this week. And her mother's doing well, but is at the moment in a care facility, and we're dealing with all of that. We don't normally deal with care facilities. We love to have people around us be very healthy. Obviously, everybody does their best to be healthy, but sometimes things happen. And so her mom has been dealing with this, and we're there to support. So, but the care facility is about 45 minutes from our place here. And LA traffic has been kind of crazy. So how has your week been, by the way? How have your, hello, Hannah. Hannah's here. Hi, Hannah. I got Leroy on. You guys, if you're here, let me see your name. Leave me a note how your week was. How have you been? This week, we're talking about seeds of love. As you know, here on Healing Journeys, we teach our marriage ministry. This is called HARTbeat. We talk about marriage and relationships on this channel. My wife and I have been married over 30 years. It's actually been 30 years in May, and now it's a month later, so it has been over 30 years. I get to legally technically say that. Anyway, hope all is well with you guys. Listen, talking about seeds of love in a marriage, or just seeds in general in your life. Every day that goes by in your life, you're planting a seed, whether it's a seed of something you say, a seed of something you do, a seed of something you react to. Everything is a seed. And what do seeds do? What happens to seeds? That's right. They will grow. They'll grow into something. So what will they grow into? It depends on what you plant. If you plant watermelons, you're going to get watermelon seeds. You're not going to get lemons. If you plant lemons, you're not going to get watermelons. If you plant finances, you're going to get finances. If you plant love, you're going to get that back. If you plant anger and rage and bitterness and jealousy, you're going to reap all of that. The Bible is very clear. It says you will reap what you sow. As a man sows, that he will also reap. That is a true statement. Jesus could not have been more clear. You know, Jesus, when he was speaking to his congregates back when he was walking the earth, he not only had his disciples around him, but he had many, many people in many, many villages and towns that he would minister to. And they all were from what's called an agrarian society. What does that mean? It means they're constantly growing and harvesting their own food. living in the modern day, like you and I do, a lot of us, I'm not saying everybody, but a lot of us don't really have to grow our own food. We go to the supermarket, we go to the convenience store, we go to wherever we go to get food. I don't get up every morning and milk cows. I don't get up every morning and plant corn. There's many people that do. I just don't. I didn't grow up in a society like that. But Jesus did grow up in a society like that, and everybody around him did. So they understood the value of seed planting, and they understood what seeds did. And so when he would place that analogy before them, they would understand. Let me see. We got a great question here. Jacquelinda. Hello, Jacquelinda. How do we plant better communication? Well, that's a great question. The way we plant better communication is we become better communicators ourselves. If you're going to be a person who's very quiet and doesn't talk a lot, you're going to make people not want to talk to you, simply because it's hard to talk to a person who doesn't talk a lot. I used to kind of be that way. I didn't want to talk very much. Hard to believe now. When I was very, very young, I wouldn't talk a lot. So as a result, I didn't have a lot of friends because it was hard to talk to me. So in order to become a better communicator, I had to start becoming someone who wasn't so introverted. I began speaking a lot more. Therefore, people would talk to me. Does that make sense? You're always going to reap what you sow. Now, then once you become a communicator, what do you communicate is the question. Let me see. Hannah says, Butch, guess what? What, Hannah? Let me know what's going on. And by the way, hi, Lisa Johnson. How are you? You guys, if you're here, leave a comment. I want to hear who you guys are. Julieann would love to hear who it is. Jacquelinda says she is an introvert. LOL. Yes, I'm sure you're not as much of an introvert as you think you are, because you're leaving comments here on this live stream. Hannah says, let me see here. It was good. My birthday is Saturday. I'm going to be an adult. Well, happy birthday, Hannah. Does that mean you're going to be 18 or 21? I think 18 is the adult age now, but sometimes people think it's 21. Well, congratulations. I'm so happy for you. Happy birthday in advance. If it is your birthday, a June birthday. My birthday is in January, so I got a long way to go. So anyway, how do you plant great seeds in your marriage? Well, very simple. Whether it's a marriage or a relationship of some kind, how do you plant those seeds? You plant those seeds by, here's the thing. I'm going to be very clear. You want to plant what you want to get back. The Bible says, love your neighbor as yourself. That means you want people to love you basically you want people to love you, right? So you got to love your neighbor. Love your neighbor as you would yourself. Everybody loves themselves. We're all our biggest fan. We all have our own best interest at heart, right? We have our best interest at heart. And so that means we're always going to do what's in our best interest. We want to get the best situation for us. Although sometimes we don't really pick the best situation for us. Sometimes we make decisions that aren't so great. We'll talk about that later. But how do you plant seeds in your marriage? How will you get your spouse? How do you get your spouse to respond well to you? Here's an easy answer. You respond well to them. It's very clear in the Bible, do unto others, you have them do unto you. Love your neighbor as yourself. You have to love people as you want to be loved too, as you love yourself. If I'm the neighbor in my neighborhood that's constantly yelling and screaming and throwing things and being angry, that's what you're going to get back. Everyone's going to be afraid of you. No one's going to want to talk to you, and drama will follow you wherever you go. Haven't we had enough drama in our lives? I mean, really, haven't we had enough drama in our lives? Wouldn't you like to plant some seeds of love? And that means this too. That means loving people even when they aren't so lovable. That's a tricky one to do. Whether you have a mate or a spouse that isn't so lovable, perhaps, it's tricky to love them. But how can we do that? How can we find it in ourselves to love somebody when they're not lovable? Easy. We act like Jesus acted. Jesus is our example. We point to Jesus for everything on this channel, on Healing Journeys Today. Jesus Christ is the answer. And someone might be watching this for the very first time. Maybe they've never even heard of Jesus Christ, or maybe they've heard enough of Jesus Christ and don't want to hear it anymore. How can I possibly make Jesus the Lord of my life all the time? Santa Claus is here. I hear jingle bells. Anyway, I think we have a very special guest that's about to join us. But how do we act like Jesus? And how do we learn about Jesus? Well, the way to do that is to read his word. And the other way to do that is to act like he acted, But how do we know how he acted? The way we know how he acted is we read the Bible, we see how he acted. When he was hung on the cross, he had been beaten, he'd been humiliated, he'd been lied about, he'd been tried, he'd been basically humiliated and beaten and scarred more than any other man had ever been scarred. And he's hanging on the cross. And if anyone had a right to be offended and be upset, if anyone had the right to be angry and just, I hate these people. He could have said that, but you know what he did? He said to the Lord, he said to God, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Now, how many of us could say that in the same situation? How many of us, when we're offended at our spouse, or our spouse does something maybe not so nice to us, how many times we get super offended? I'm going to storm out. That's what I'm going to do. But if we compare ourselves to Jesus, we really have nothing to complain about, because we didn't go through anything even close to what he went through. You know what I mean? We didn't even what we're going through can't even compare to what he went through. Wait, do I hear it? What is this? We have a special guest. Ladies and gentlemen, Julieann Hartman is joining us. Did you hear the jingle bells? There she is.
Hello, everyone.
She's here. Hi, how are you?
Good.
Welcome back. Julieann, I was saying, Julieann wasn't here last week. We were dealing with a family situation, a health situation.
And we're still dealing with it. And it's my mom, and she's at a facility, and it's all the way in the city. And so you get on the freeway and everything is gridlocked. And so
I'm surprised you made it here so quick.
Well, that's because you weren't sitting in the traffic. Didn't see
the audience will tell you it took me 3 times to get on because the camera setting was wrong. So anyway, we're finally on, and this amazing crowd has agreed to just stay here, and they are just doing great. We're talking about seeds of love, as I told you. And Jacqueline's got a question here. She says, I pray that God expands my capacity to love, and he gives me people that seem unlovable. Isn't that usually how it works too? Jacqueline, I want to tell you something. You're probably going to encounter 90% of the people in your life are going to be unlovable. At least you're going to think they are.
Well, let me say this. And I mean, hey, it's easier to sit here on this side and go like, what's wrong with you? Just love them anyway. Because I know that unlovable people can be unlovable. But we got to decide, and I have to make the decision every day for myself.
Every moment of the day.
What am I going to choose? Am I going to choose Christ first, or am I going to choose my emotions first? And yes, I want to get into my emotions. And yes, I want to give into the frustration and all that kind of stuff. But I have to make a choice. And some days I feel like my head will explode if I don't let it out. But then other days, and not just days, but times when your head wants to explode. And then there are other times when you're like, no, Julieann, you know better than this. You know how the enemy plays you. You know how he can play you, because he knows where to go after you in whatever area that is, like something that you're very passionate about. And so, so you have to forget the fact that they're unlovable. Just you do everything unto the Lord. Like for real, you do everything unto the Lord. And that means not just, that doesn't mean do it for the Lord. Yes, it does. But you do it with the Lord in mind first. And when you could do that, then you will not allow, and one other thing I want to add is this. It's easy to get in a conversation about how they drive you crazy, that you don't like them. And I'm giving you advice right now. Don't have those conversations. Do not. Go, if you're going to have them, go to the Lord, because he already told us that he wants your cares. He wants all of that stuff.
1 Peter 5:7.
Right. So if you go to your friend or your sister, your brother or your mother or any of those people, and you start voicing that person cannot make anything better. But what it does is it gets you riled up. When you go to the Lord, it's a whole different story, because you get to unload onto him, and then he takes it and absorbs it in his own presence, and then you let it go. But we all want to tell people off. We all want to be able to let you know that you're wrong and I'm right. And that's not always going to work out the way you think it is. So
everyone here is saying they're going to pray for your mom.
Thank you.
Tyler here says, how was your mom? And mom's doing okay.
Well, I want to add this. So my mom, there's nothing wrong with my mom. I've got a whole portal at UCLA, from UCLA, from the healthcare, that we're over 100 tests that say nothing's wrong.
You can basically look in on all the tests that have been done to your loved one.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Nothing is wrong. She has back spasms. And I'm not discounting that at all because there's pain. But I want to tell you all too, is that you all have a choice. You all have a choice to, like right now, her choice is, do I feel like eating or do I need to eat? And she's making the choice of, I don't feel like eating. So now the doctors came in today and they said, well, you're so weak that we can't give you the physical therapy that you need because you're too weak to do it. And you don't want to eat, so you can't do physical therapy. Do you see how she's locked herself in this place?
Because she's actually refusing to eat, which is very interesting.
Right. So then when she said, well, I can't chew. So then they bring her food she can chew. And then she said she hates it. So I'm just telling you, this, not just look at this in food and stuff, but look at this in other areas of your life. What are the things that you keep saying why you can't do something? Well, it's because of what they did.
Now that's a seed. We're talking about seeds on this episode. So seeds of love is what we're talking about. So that could be a seed.
Right. And the seed that is so true. You sow the seeds of whatever that might be. And when you do that, you make a choice.
Mm-hmm.
So right now,
and you're going to reap what you sow. Right
now, my mom is making a choice, and I can't force feed her. I tried today, and
that must have been interesting.
Yeah, that
got
didn't
any photos?
go over too well.
Photos of that?
But so again, what is it? Because like when everybody feels good, they're like, "Well, I would never do that." Well, even when you don't feel good, you still do what you've got to do to, keep yourself healthy.
It's interesting. Your mom is in a situation where there really isn't anything physically wrong with her, which is interesting. That shows on a test at least. But she won't eat because she's angry or upset or something.
No, she just doesn't feel like eating. But again,
not eating is making her
right. So what I can say is I don't feel like forgiving that person. So now I'm going to live with the repercussions of unforgiveness, of not forgiving somebody. Yeah. Right. Or I'm going to stay mad at that person because they deserve it. Well, now I've made a decision to stay mad at somebody because I feel like they deserve it. Therefore, where do we go from here? They don't care. This is so true.
The person that you're mad at.
The person doesn't care that you're mad at them.
They probably don't. They probably don't even know you're mad at them.
No. Yeah. And if they do know, if they're not nice to you, if they're not your friend, trust me, they don't care. So if they don't care, why are you trying to make them care? Why are you even trying to spend another minute and just move on? Because life is too short. And besides, when you start allowing that venom to come on the inside of you and start penetrating your whole bloodstream, it's just going to be really bad news for you. So we have protection over that.
It's also exhausting. How exhausted have you been trying to deal with these emotions? It's very exhausting. Dealing with emotions is very exhausting. When Adam and Eve fell in the Bible, not physically fell, but like spiritually fell, the Lord said, the earth is now cursed. You're now going to have to get food out of the ground by the sweat of your brow, sweat and toil. And by the way, God didn't curse the earth. Adam cursed the earth.
Right.
But, everything is hard when it comes to emotions, guys. We're trying to steer you away from emotions. I'm not saying they won't show up, but it's how you control them. Like the situation with your mom is a very emotional situation. Nobody wants to see their loved one laying in a hospital bed. And the person in the bed doesn't want to be there either. But it's frustrating when the person in the bed doesn't seem to want to help themselves out of the bed.
Well, in a way. And I know for me, because my mom and I are very close, I know that she doesn't want to see me have to deal with all of this. And so, I know this is a marriage, obviously we talk about marriage.
Well, this is part of marriage because it involves family.
Right. So we're both navigating through this together. And even though it's my mom, it's still been his mom for the last 30 years.
She's been my mother-in-law for 30 years. She practically is my mom. So exactly.
But we're navigating through it together. And the worst thing that we can do is argue, him and I. And so that's why for some of you guys, when something like this happens, because I know the man usually wants to fix everything, but sometimes you just got to let your wife just vent and just get it out. because to hold things on the inside like that is never good. So don't not to scream at the person to say anything that they've done wrong, but sometimes the frustration is so much that you just have to like speak it out. So if you can do that without trying to fix them, that's the best thing you could do to help somebody, is let them talk, but don't try to fix. And so that's one thing that's been happening, because every day I go there and I get frustrated. And so, Butch really helps me out to listen to what I have to say, but yet not try to fix me. And so I'm just putting that out there to everyone.
Yeah.
But I'm not abusing him. I know that some people do abuse people when they're angry. And a lot of parents do. And trust me, there's a lot of elderly abuse when your parent isn't doing what you need them to do. I could see very easily how some people abuse their parents when they're in a situation like this, because they can't force them to do anything and they won't do it on their own.
Gretchen says, listen, but don't fix is our church's current motto.
That's a good church.
Oh, and Hannah says, Julieann, guess what? I already know the answer.
My God.
I already guessed.
Hannah,
Hannah. Okay, Hannah, what? Tell us. And let's see, Susan Garcia. Susie, how are you, sweetheart? She says, been there, drank the poison and changed my mind. Continue to renew my mind. Thank you for encouraging me. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
you certainly are. I want to point something out. I was on here by myself and I had about 20 viewers. It's increased by 14 since you've come on. So you increase the rating. See, you bring the pretty girls on. And
Hannah, I want to know what's going on.
Oh, she'll tell you in a sec. Oh, she says my birthday. Oh, my birthday is Saturday. I'm going to be a legal adult. So look at that.
Oh my gosh!
No, I said, does that mean
birthday.
18 or 21?
Yeah, is that 18 or 21?
I don't even know
anymore these days. Who even knows?
Well, listen, folks, we're talking about seeds. So, what seeds are you planting every day? And like I said earlier, explaining about Jesus living in a society where they planted every day and they knew the value of seeds and they knew the importance of seeds. Again, we probably don't go plant physical seeds every day, but you're still planting seeds in what you say. You're still planting seeds in what you do. You're still planting seeds in your finances, in your job. Someone sent me a great text today, and I was going to read it at Bible study, but I want to read it here for you right now. Just part of it. This is cool. Good morning. Untie your knots, KNOTS. It says, remove the cannot and the do not that I have in my mind. Erase the will not, the may not, the might nots that may find a home in my heart. Release me from the could nots, the would nots, and the should nots that obstruct my life. Father, most of all, I ask you that you remove from my mind, my heart, and my life all of the am not that I've allowed to hold me back, in Jesus' name. 5 years from now, make sure you can say that you chose your life. You didn't settle for it. How great a text is that? 5 years from now, you can say, I chose this life. This isn't what I settled for. Because of the seeds you're planting now, you're planting seeds right now that will lead you down a road 5 years now. Think of where you were 5 years ago, those of you that are old enough to have controlled your life. Where were you 5 years ago? Were the things you said then leading up to where you are right now? Those are seeds you planted, and you're harvesting them right now. Whether they're good or bad, you're harvesting them. Weeds grow whether you want them to or not. How come they grow so easy, the weeds? But you plant a tomato plant.
Trust me.
You plant tomatoes, and it takes you 9 years to grow one.
Every June, the fire department comes to, we live in a brush
a very dry brush area.
So they come every May, and they do a survey of your land, and they send you a letter saying what needs to be done. And they even take pictures of if you have anything that could be flammable.
Yeah.
That could be weeds or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because we did a huge thing in our yard.
We cleaned everything out.
I mean, like literally, we took down trees. We did everything, and it all overgrew already.
Grew back.
And so now we have to do it again.
Because seeds will grow, you guys.
But the weeds are the worst ones.
Yeah.
Like, why can't my grass grow like that? Why does that have to be weeds grow like that?
And the word of God is a seed. And God always says, my word will not return to me void. That word that gets planted in your heart, that gets planted in your marriage, that gets planted in your relationship, that word is going to turn into something. Are you saying words of failure and anger and misery and all that stuff in your marriage? Or are you saying words of hope and blessing and love in your marriage? Are you doing that? You need to figure out what that's going to be. Think about it. 5 years from now, I can't believe I'm saying this, will be the year 2027. So in 2027, what is going to happen to your life because of the seeds you planted today? I'm praying right now in the name of Jesus that you get everything you've ever wanted, and that you get the life you've chosen. the life that you've chosen. You don't
Yeah.
have to live this life.
I
Or
do
you
wanna-
don't have to live a life. You get to live a life.
I want to add one more thing that, one thing that I've done for my mom since the day she came to live with us 12 years ago
Yeah.
is I've always given her some kind of a task, some kind of a purpose for her to do things, whether it's just, like she's like really good at like making floral arrangements,
Wreaths.
like wreaths and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And so we started a business for her. She did that. Then she was she was just making a lot of stuff. And so we started a business with that. Then she loved wrapping gifts. So we started a business for that as well. And so I've always tried to do whatever I could to get her like involved in something to where she felt like she needed to be here. So my thing I'm going to say to you is start looking at what God has called you to do. Because if you don't know what that is and there's no purpose, you will go day in and day out, and all of a sudden one day you won't care anymore, and there'll be nothing driving you to stay alive. Mm-hmm. So I just want to leave you with that, because you need something to drive you to the point of, well, I can't let this happen. I've got to do that, whatever it is. I've got kids to raise. I've got that, that project that God gave me.
I've got this amazing vision God's given me. Yeah.
But if you don't understand your purpose, you have no more vision. We have Vision Possible. So we know a lot about this. Vision Possible is a coaching business that we have. Mm-hmm. You can go to visionpossible.net to check it out. But anyway, when you don't have something, you really set yourself up for the enemy to come in and just do a number on your brain and make you feel like you're not worth it to anybody. Mm-hmm. You have no more reason to live. You have no more input to this world. Mm-hmm. All of those things, that's what the enemy chooses to do. And he will accomplish it if you agree.
Amen. And by the way, like you said, if you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there.
Yes.
All right, guys, we got to run. And again, sorry for the 2 false starts, the camera thing. I fixed it. So praise the Lord, you guys are here. No, I was all set to go, and then the camera wouldn't work, and they could hear me, but they couldn't see me. And I knew you'd be disappointed if I didn't get the broadcast going. But hey, I'm glad Julieann joined us this week. I'm so glad she's here.
I'm so glad I'm here too.
Don't forget, this weekend is the Healing Journeys Today conference live from North Carolina. You can tune in Friday night. What time do we start in North Carolina?
So we start at 6, so it'll be 3:00 Pacific time.
3:00 Pacific
time.
Do
the math the rest of the time.
Yep.
But it is in North Carolina. They're 3 hours ahead.
It'll be Friday night and
6 to 9,
and all day Saturday.
9 to 6 Saturday. You don't want to miss it. The worship is going to be off the charts. The speakers are going to be off the charts. They're amazing. Our daughter, Sophia, is leading the worship. She's awesome. She runs the whole platform, this whole platform. And then our other daughter, Carly, is going to be the hostess for the online the online conference.
The live stream.
The live stream. So you got to be there. So watch it, whatever you do. Okay. Love you guys.
We love you guys. Thanks for watching. Have a blessed week.
Thank you for praying for my mom too. I really appreciate it.
Bye.
Love you.